Evening, welcome back to Space Engineers. Right, so we're going to carry on with our kind of build. Now, this is a short one. We're only going to do 2 of this, so this is the completion. I guess I show this because it's always good to just kind of come back and revisit some of your builds. And one of the things I'm really quite enjoying at the moment is not sticking with a single base, because I'm doing a lot of, well, long story short, I lost my PC 3 times now. So I keep having to reinstall my operating system. So long story short, what that means is that I lose all my saves, which is an interesting kind of scenario, because usually you'd be quite annoyed at that, right? But I've got to admit, I'm not. I'm actually quite enjoying the fact that there's the ability just to start again from new. So I rate it, I really do. I think it's worth actually just sort of saying to yourself, right, go to the mod shop, look at some of the worlds, see if there's anything there that interests you. This one really did, because I thought this was a wonderful example of the I guess the kind of things that are in my head. When you want to be creative, one of the many things you think to yourself is, well, what could I do? And I think the idea of having a base that I could actually just walk on continually is quite nice. So I thought this one would be great. And again, it's not the biggest asteroid. I know that. It's a bit small. I also know that. But it's quite fun. So, I think that's the key thing. Now, if you can spot the deliberate mistake that I'm doing, well, it's not deliberate. If you can spot the mistake I'm doing on this solar panel, then post in the comments. But I figure it out in a minute. Don't worry. If you want to know what it is, you figured it out. Basically, where you've got the 2-axis, don't put the panels in line with that, okay? Because you need to tilt it. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So let's talk Space Engineers. I mean, I think there's been so much kind of work done on this game. For every week, every Thursday, there's a new patch, which is just incredible, really, when you think about it. I mean, how many developers can actually push new content every week? Guaranteed every week, pretty much. And it's not small stuff they're adding. Like what they just added in the last patch was the ability to remote drone control your ships, which is just incredible. So I think that's going to just be a whole game changer for the way that these things work. I'm really quite excited to see how they're going to develop this, because what more are they going to put in? I've got to admit, it's almost like every week they come up with such a great new idea that I'm like, God, never thought of that. They're just such a great example of a developer that really is keen to push their game. I know they're doing a few questionable things, like the Yog Ventures thing. If you don't know what that is, let me give you a quick rundown. Basically, they pay YouTubers to sing and dance about their game. Even if they don't actually like the game, they'll just guarantee to give you a good questionable, good kind of feedback, which I guess I haven't much of an opinion of, but I don't think you should probably, there's got to be some ethics somewhere that says, or rather some, what's the word, morality that just says that's probably not a good thing to do. If you hate the game, you should probably say you hate the game, and not just sing and dance about it because they're giving you a great big greasy fat check. Which kind of happened with this game. They were the first one to actually just pay YouTubers to come sing their praise about it, and it kind of soured it a little bit for me, because I remember thinking, well, there's lots of YouTubers out there who've done hundreds of videos for this game, and they've really tried to push it and make it just such a popular game. And what they've done is they've gone with basically the lowest common denominator and produced a very poor series of videos that maybe don't necessarily sell the essence of the game. They just sell a load of kind of screaming idiots trying to talk to other screaming idiots, and I think that's kind of my fear, is that they're really bringing the game down. They never did that with Minecraft, thank God. But they didn't need to, because so many people just play Minecraft already. It's kind of a moot point. That's just my opinion. I don't really have any issue with the way they market this game, because if it means the game's more of a success, then awesome. I'm happy with that. But it does come down to, really, I think a lot of people are now realizing the power of YouTube. There is a lot of people in games development who are now wooing certain YouTubers to obviously the big ones to basically be their kind of cheerleaders, which is fascinating when you think about it. I mean, that is something that we've never really understood, because nobody really there's no kind of governing watchdog around YouTubers, so they can pretty much do what they like. There's no YouTube aren't sat there basically just saying, right, these are the rules or the ethics of this whole industry. There's none. We make it up as we go. So if somebody wants to sit here and just say, oh my God, this game is amazing, then it may not be, but There's no real kind of thing to sort of slap them on the wrist and say, you're not allowed to do that. Which is an interesting one, because maybe somebody would have done that with our Dust series. I don't know, because Dust was not a massive success, but it was still a fun game, and I hoped we always showed the essence of that. And that's why we do Space Engineers. It's just such a fun game. We do it because we love it. We're not trying to earn money from it. We're not trying to kind of go crazy with it. We just want to enjoy it and show you what we build. And that's where YouTube's begins. Most people play YouTube, or most people start YouTube and do channels and that because they have a desire to communicate and show, hey, look at what I did, isn't this great? Or, oh, look how good I am at this FPS, and oh my god, look at this funny situation that happened here. And then all of a sudden, YouTube knock on your door and say, here, have 20p. And you're like, what, 20p? Where'd that come from? And it's like, no, there you go, or rather £50. And you're like, wow, I got £50 just for doing videos. So all of a sudden then the monkey's on your back and then you're forever doing videos, which to me it becomes something that you almost have to sort of say there's a responsibility there, because I mean, I've only got 7,000 people follow me. I mean, I'm very grateful for that. But I have this kind of duty of care in my mind to you, that if something, if I look at a game and I kind of, if I recommend it, that's my credibility on the line there. Now, for a lot of YouTubers, they don't care. They're just more interested in making as much money as they can, as quick as they can, and getting the hell out before people realize what a load of charlatan bastards they are. But there are certain YouTubers who I do have I have a disagreement with, but I also respect them quite great. For like Total Biscuit, I think he's very good because he really does give you his honest opinion. Okay, it's just a shame that his honest opinion sometimes is massive and whiny, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes you have to accept that, and I think that's a real good example of when YouTube can be used for good, but it could also kind of be used as a bit of a whining platform for his own agendas. And that's, again, unfortunately, just the way the way YouTube is, I guess. And I think that's not just YouTube, Twitch as well. I mean, if you watch Twitch, then, wow, how do you do that? Because to me, it just drives me nuts watching somebody else play a game with all of the bad bits included. It's like when you watch a video like this, you get the highlights. Trust me. Okay, that's probably not the best way to say it, but you get the highlights. And I think it's weird because when you watch Twitch, you're just getting everything. So you see somebody sat in an options menu for half an hour and they're looking at every option and talking about it, and it's like, what? Why? What? So to things like that just really kind of, they get my goat, as they would say. But I think it's a tricky one because the games like Space Engineers and games like Minecraft and others all before them have relied on a huge word of mouth presence, and I think certainly Space Engineers is doing well now because of the word of mouth. Even Yog Ventures and others have really supported it. So there you go. In the last video, I asked you what was wrong with those solar panels, and I've just worked it out. I put them on the wrong axis. What a noob. But I think there's certainly something quite exciting about Space Engineers. And if you're not playing it, seriously give it a go. I think it's like £15, which is like $20. And I guarantee you the amount of entertainment you'll get for your money comparatively is going to be extreme, because you will play this for days and days. It is just a great sandbox to enjoy your own imagination. And I know a lot of people don't have an imagination and you rely on the gaming developers to give you theirs, but I would recommend you try this at least once, because what you'll find is there's actually quite an enjoyable there's an enjoyable process here, because a lot of it is like trying to solve problems, and problem solving can be very boring and school like, but eventually what you do get is a huge reward from, in this case, a moon base, which is a bit blocky. We could spend ages tarting it up, etc., but the reality is that this is just really what I wanted to do. I wanted to build a moon base which is solar powered, which has then little mini rover access, as you can see the garage there underneath. This is it. This is all I wanted to do. And I think this I was did this in probably a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon with a couple of drinks in me, and it was great. And this is what gaming can really give you. It doesn't always have to be shooting things in the face. I think the creative side of it is also worth looking at. I think particularly when you look at what Space Engineers is still developing and going on to do, it is astonishing the kind of cleverness being shown with this simple single product. So I think, yeah, give it a go, see how you get on with it. If you enjoy it, then post in the comments, and then, you know, link me to some of your creations. It is fully supported by Steam as well, so if I wanted to, I could even upload this map. I've done a few maps so far, and I've uploaded them. So, you know, just just go to the workshop and search by CEO Pyrex, all one word, and you'll see stuff that I've done. It may just be one map at the moment, but as I do them, I'll start to upload them, because, to be honest, there's a huge amount of fun in just kind of, you know, doing stuff like this. And I know it looks a bit odd. It looks like a pimple on the bum of a of a god, but to be honest, I don't mind. And I think this is partly the reason why I kind of love this game so much, I guess, is because it is any game that gives you the tools to create something of wonder like Minecraft did, and I think certainly like this game does, is well worth your time. And I think it's just so much fun. So this is it. Unfortunately, I can't show you what it turned into because I lost my computer save, so I lost this one entirely, which is a shame because I did do a fair bit more on it, but hey, what are you gonna do? I just wanted to show you this because it's really just a great kind of example of what you can just do when you have a moment in Space Engineers. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. What are we going to create next? Who knows? Find out here.